Well, hi there. It's April 27th, 2013. Just got back from my ride. Wasn't sure that I was going to have a ride today. As I was checking the weather before I left, I looked at the radar and there were some patches of rain. And as I walked out the back door, went into the garage to get my bike, in that time period when I walked back out with my bike, it started sprinkling. So I looked at the sky and thought, wow, okay. But the rain didn't last but just a few minutes, and I waited a little, probably 5, maybe 8 minutes there, excuse me, and decided that I was going to go. If I got caught in the rain, I'd get caught in the rain. One of my things that I try to do, if it's not raining, when I get ready to go biking, I take off on that. So, well, as I took off, that was about, oh goodness, what time did I start? It was 11 something, 11:19. In the streets around, as I was headed out of Kingwood, the streets were damp but not soaked or anything. The closer I got to US 59, because my goal today, or route today, was to ride to Splendora. That's a little town north of us, about 15 miles north from where you go into Kingwood. But as I got closer to US 59, it got drier and drier, and then the sun started coming out, the clouds broke up. And then I got to Loop 494, which is east of the service road. Normally when I go to Splendora, I ride up the service road. But today I thought, no, I'm going to take Loop 494 as long as it goes. So I took off on Loop 494 and rode all the way to Roman Forest, and at Roman Forest Loop 494 essentially ends. So then I got on this little back street that's on the east side of the railroad tracks and runs parallel to that. And I took that from there up to Wood Branch, and then that road ends. And so I got over on the service road and went up to Patton Village, and then got back on that road all the way to Splendora. And all the time, sun partly cloudy, or I'd say maybe mostly cloudy skies. Wore a long sleeve jersey again. Didn't know if I'd need it or not. Turned out that it was probably a good idea on that. So as I stopped in Splendora, got some ice, and took off, headed south, back towards home. And boy, the wind, it wasn't, well, it turned out that when I got home I checked, and it was really stronger than yesterday. It was 15 miles an hour from the south-southeast. And when I got on the southbound service road, I thought the wind was challenging. The southbound service road has some inclines, nothing really big, except just before you get to State Route 242. There's what, years ago, a guy that I used to ride with, Mark Peterson, we would be coming down that, headed towards, at that time, 242 didn't exist, and we would be coming up there, and there was this sharp incline where it would go up probably, 65, 70 feet, but it would be like in 300 or 400 yards, so it was pretty radical climb for us flatlanders. But anyway, I got on there, and I was really able to make pretty decent time, even though in spite of the wind, my legs recovered from yesterday, and it was a smooth effort. It took a lot of effort, but it was good riding south on the service road. When I got to Porter, I stopped, and I guess that was about 28 miles, a little over 28 miles, and had some animal crackers and a Diet Pepsi as I rested for the last 9 miles. Actually, it turned out to be 10 miles to home. The ride today ended up being 38.3 miles, almost as much as yesterday. My average speed was 15.3 miles per hour, which I think duplicated yesterday. And my miles for the month, a week ago, I thought, boy, I'll never, it didn't look real good for me hitting my goal, but the miles now for the month of April are 675.91, so I'm 45 miles away from that 720. So I got a shot at it. 3 riding days left, and headed that way. There is a 40% chance of rain tomorrow, and maybe that'll get it out of its system. But over 3 days, I should be able to hopefully get 45 miles in. Once I left Porter, I saw the clouds starting to gather again, and so I speeded up as fast as I could going into the wind, and got beat it back home as quick as possible. I did make it home, as I said, 38.3 miles. It was interesting when I pulled into the driveway and walked in to put the garage door up. My wife came out of the house saying that she was just thinking about me. She was looking at the weather radar and saw some thunderstorms to the southwest of us. And I said, "No, I'm here. Didn't need a rescue or anything." I put my bike in the garage, and as I was walking from the garage to the house, I could hear thunder off in the distance. So as I'm recording this, the rain still hasn't got here yet, but it sure is coming this direction on that. Year to date, I'm about 1,990 miles. Let me check here. 1,990.55 miles for the year to date. So making progress on that too. We'll see how tomorrow goes. Earlier today, I watched the Tour of Romandy again, stage 5. I tell you, those guys, I don't know how they do it. It was 6 degrees Celsius, which would be about 36, 37 degrees generally. And then there were spots where it was a -2 Celsius, which would be about 29 degrees. In fact, the weather was so severe that they eliminated one of the mountaintop peaks that they were going to go over. And I thought, wow. I looked at those riders, a bunch of them, all they had on were leg warmers, arm warmers, and that was it. And some of them had already pushed down their arm warmers, so they were putting out some watts, burning up some power. Well, that's it for today. Looking forward to riding tomorrow. I'll get back to you then.